Morning, Team 201. Start of another week, and here we go. Hope you had a good Easter weekend. Hope you're safe and healthy wherever you may find yourself in this beautiful country of ours. I just wanted to check in. There's been a couple of mails just asking us for old questions or extra questions. So I just wanted to touch base on that, and then also just give you sort of an exam technique, study technique question, if you like. That might help you through the year. I hope it helps you through the year. So in terms of old questions, you guys generally have what we have. If you don't have it yet, you will have it. We will definitely release it when the time is right for it to be released. Just remember, IFRS, the financial reporting world you are starting to work and orbit in is constantly changing. So a lot of the topics there won't be questions over 20 years that are developed. I mean, the framework itself came out 2-3 years ago, so there's really hasn't been many tests that we've got old test questions from for you. The asset definitions change, so it doesn't really help if I'm going to be testing the 2018 asset definition to give you a 2010 question. So that does sort of limit the number of questions. Then apart from the number of questions, some topics there'll be more than others, but we've used them a lot this year. If you want to go and look for those that we have, we've used them on the RMAT generally, has been old test questions. And then we will be releasing a few more in an integrated questions handout. Then in your handouts with your questions and solutions, we generally scale you up in those handouts. So you start with easier questions, and then the last questions in handouts are generally old test questions as well. So that's another place you can look out for that. And then even your assignment project, the revision project, that's old year test questions. So have a look at that as well. Then that just brings us to something that I think is important, and I'm not sure if your first year lecturers would have touched on it yet, but I definitely need to touch on it with you. In terms of how you use these questions. At school, you would have been drilled. I mean, you buy these books with extra old exam questions, and you do 50 questions, and the exam will look like one of those questions. Remember, you're becoming a specialist accountant now. You're becoming a chartered accountant. So the things you're going to face in practice is things that nobody else can do. Your bookkeeper can't do it. She's not qualified, or he's not qualified to do it, and they will refer it to you because you'll be able to use that knowledge and professional judgment to help them come up with an answer where there might not be an answer yet. So to develop that skill, guys, every test question you see will be a new question. You won't have seen that economic event before because we are trying to develop that ability of yours to look at an unfamiliar scenario and come up with an answer. So every year, and I'm sure we'll hear it again this year from you guys, but this year's questions was much harder than last year's. That's not true. Every year they say that to us. The scenario is new. And the difference is the questions these years, when we get back on campus, you'll be writing in the venue, you haven't seen them, the pressure's on, time limits are on. So that's different from doing a question in your own time when you don't have that pressure. So that may be the psychology about questions looking more difficult every year. The thing is that you need to practice now with the questions we give you. It's not a case of trying to work out, do I know all my content? That might incidentally happen, but that's not the primary point of the questions. The primary point of these questions that we share with you guys is to see if you can apply that to unfamiliar scenarios. So you really need to be taking a question and trying to work out for yourself what's going on here. What relevant part of IFRS do I need? What part of the standard do I need? And that skill is what's going to help you in the year tests. So it's practicing the skill of using your IFRS and applying it to unfamiliar scenarios. Content, if you want to know if you know all the content, go back to your IFRS and check, do I know this paragraph? Do I know this paragraph? The test now at this level is about being able to use that content knowledge. So I hope that helps. Have a great week, and we'll see you around.